Hello and welcome to the Irresistible Marketing Pod, the podcast that wants you to get the sales you've been longing for and to be able to handle that increase in demand once it comes in. I'm your host, Isa Gauchi, your marketing confidence cheerleader and owner of the Isa Messaging digital marketing agency for small business baddies such as yourself. Today I'm going to share a personal experience with you since I haven't done an Entrepreneur Diaries episode in a while. We're going to talk about what it's actually like to go viral, something a lot of us service providers think that we want. Yeah, you want the sales, you want the demand, you want the engagement, and you want the recognition that you assume going viral entails. But in reality, many entrepreneurs are unprepared for the actual experience of going viral and how it strains both your business systems and your emotional coping skills. So, hoping you can learn from my experience and prepare your systems to accommodate a massive influx of interest. So here's the story. I went viral for the first time right before Christmas, and it was a lot harder and easier than I thought it would be. So here's what happened and what I learned. So the business I went viral for was not actually this business. It was in a totally different field. It's horses. I'm training and teaching riding lessons, and the stars just aligned that this is something I feel is really in the cards for me in 2026. I got my license, I got my insurance all lined up, I've got interest, I've got demand, and so here's what happened. I've been kind of preparing, and my mentor had offered some of our existing clients a special Christmas lights ride, and then casually asked me if I knew anyone else who might be interested. So I popped into a horse's stall, took a really quick video, and didn't even get around to posting it till 2 days later. I was expecting maybe 30 likes and an inquiry or two if I was lucky. It was a new social media account with less than 100 followers after all. And I posted it quick and dirty. I didn't check my phone until that evening, and to my shock, found more than 100 people were commenting, messaging, and wanting to book. Then it was 200. Then it was 300. Then it was more. Likes, comments, DMs on DMs on DMs. There was coordinating scheduling with my mentor, juggling running and marketing the squad and this business, teaching my riding lessons, and getting alarming amounts of notifications whenever I glanced at my phone. It was so much at once, it felt like my brain was short-circuiting. It was quite modest in terms of going viral, but it was far more visibility and attention than I was used to, in such a short period of time at least, which is good, right? I should have been popping champagne and giving myself a hearty pat on the back for achieving this thing we're all taught in the social media marketing world that we want. But here's what happened instead. I had a panic attack. My anxiety spiked, and I could not look away from my phone. Even though I took my anxiety medication, I walked my dog, I tried to make myself food, but I could not stop anxiety spiraling. And it was real bad. I even resorted to asking ChatGPT about whether this was a normal reaction to going viral, and apparently it actually is. And I'll include some references for that in the show notes so that you can go check out why this is a common phenomenon and some other creators' experiences with it. So my body was interpreting my visibility, the amount of people wanting something from me, and in turn, the volume of people I could potentially disappoint. My body thought that was a life-threatening emergency. No matter what my brain said, no what I was consciously trying to tell myself, my body was like, you in danger, girl. And it was weird because there was this huge juxtaposition. So almost anybody I told about what was happening was like, congratulations, great job, that's awesome. Like, my business partner was over the freaking moon when I showed her the response. But what I was feeling was really different. I wanted to delete my video. I wanted to throw my phone away. I wanted to hide under my covers until January. And I suddenly actually missed my 5 to 30 likes per post days. I dreaded answering the comments and DMs of everyone wanting not just a Christmas lights ride, but also to book private lessons with me and other horse experiences, which is kind of the dream for anyone launching a new business, to have a huge volume of interest before you even put stuff on sale. Like, that's great. So what the hell happened? Because it took me at least 2 whole days for me to calm down and recognize this as the achievement and the opportunity that it was. So what was up with that? What happened? Now that I've calmed down, answered all my comments and DMs, quadrupled my followers in less than a week, and added several new clients, though less than you'd think after going viral, I've decided to reflect on the experience so I can make the most of the lessons learned and save you some head and heartaches should you happen to go viral. So let's start with the business takeaways, and then in the second half of this episode, we'll talk about the personal takeaways. So business takeaway number 1, following a formula or even best practices did not make it go viral. I repeat, did not. So this company, the one I'm recording this podcast episode for, Mesa Messaging, my digital marketing agency, and my marketing confidence cheerleading services, which are my bread and butter. So I run a membership club for entrepreneurs, and I do one-on-ones to help you up not just your marketing strategy, but also how you take care of yourself and your emotional and energetic approach to entrepreneurship, so you are not at odds with parts of yourself that are afraid of the visibility or afraid of the success when you go to tell people about your offer and your business, because it's all tied together. You can't really have one without the other. But I digress. Anyway, so I have a business explicitly about marketing, right? That one ain't never gone viral. And look, I've been a marketer for a super long time. Before I launched this business in 2021, I'd been working in marketing for 6 years. I had launched a marketing agency for another company that was super successful. And before that, I ran all the social media for the little newspaper for which I served as news editor for about 2.5 years. So that's a long time. That's a lot of years to add up where I've been living and breathing marketing. And in all that time, I'm not ashamed to say that I never went viral. Like, sometimes a post would pop off as in like a bit, like it felt like 100 likes or more was the big deal. And that felt like kind of like, oh wow, feather in my cap. And I actually completely forgot until I started working on the blog post that is the basis for this episode, that there was actually one time a couple years ago where I guest wrote an article for Me Too, which I love, and it got what felt like a lot of attention. I actually don't know how many likes and comments it got, and I'll tell you why in a second. I don't remember how much it got, but it felt like a huge amount to me at the time. And I read a few comments and then felt too overwhelmed, and I stopped reading or looking at the responses. Like, I never looked at it again. I just shut it off in my brain, never looked at the post again, and even stopped writing for Me Too, even though I had like a really nice offer to keep doing guest posts that they were going to pay me for. Like, I shut down so much at that first experience of going viral that I actually forgot that it had happened until I was literally editing this blog post. So my takeaway for this is kind of both a business and personal one, was that deep down, minimal likes and views and comments felt safer to me. Like, despite my surface level frustration and disappointment and confusion in my lack of growth on my social media channels, like, my follower count was staying low, my engagement rates weren't great, and though I was making sales and like decent money, I felt like something was really wrong on the surface, not recognizing I had this inside part of me that didn't want to go viral. So you can see how kind of like my conscious self was trying to achieve something that a deeper part of myself didn't actually want. And so that was really reflected in my marketing results. And so I wasn't aware of this again at the time. So I was like, what's wrong with my social media marketing? Why can't I get this to pop off like my other channels? So I tried other people's best practices. I made similar content to what I saw working for other people, and hardly anything ever came of it in terms of those vanity metrics like follower count, like likes, comments, and saves. I wasn't somehow factoring in that I was still making money, even though my vanity metrics were low. Like the money metrics were good, but somehow wasn't connecting those dots internally for myself in the way I viewed my marketing and my work. Because people would often buy something off of a post that only got 3 likes. I'm not joking. But it didn't feel like it was working, and it didn't feel like it was worth the time and energy I had been pouring in. And so after years of trying different things, I fully gave up on social media marketing for this particular business for the better part of 2025. But as I prepared to open my horse business, and just an aside, I'm back to it. There's some other stuff going on for me in 2025 that I think I'll probably talk about in a later episode, but we'll get into that later. But anyhow, I had given up on social media marketing for this business for most of 2025. But as I was preparing to open my horse business, it seemed a more natural fit for social media marketing. I had made a little TikTok for it. I posted a few cute horse videos, and they, like, to be honest, they would kind of pop off. Like 300 and up likes was normal, and that felt good. But because I wasn't like actively selling anything, it wasn't leading directly to money opportunities. And so there's kind of less pressure in it. I think that this Christmas lights might have been the first Christmas lights ride. I think this was the first time I was actually explicitly selling something. And for this marketing business, I'd noticed like my algorithms tended to show it to less people if I was explicitly selling anything. So I really wasn't expecting much from this little video I threw up in 5 minutes. And so I'd been making like these cute horse videos, getting like decent engagement, but I was like not expecting the hundreds and hundreds of comments and DMs the week before Christmas for this one little video. Because the video that actually went viral, I made in like less than 5 minutes. I only did a single take. I didn't script it or rehearse it. I had no hook that I came up with other than the one I opened with on the fly. There were no transitions. There were no filters. There was no trending song. There was traffic sounds in the background. I just got it done. And I shared it after not posting for nearly an entire week and extremely intermittently before that. So I wasn't expecting this to really go anywhere or do anything. Like I said, for this business, I've noticed like the algorithms make my views go down whenever I'm explicitly selling something. So yes, I'm going to sum this up and make sense of it. So I'm really, really tempted, and I really kind of want to just tell you that and debunk social media formulas that business influencers are trying to oversell you on. But I have to admit that even though this was so low effort, I did use some strategy. Like I did have a title on my video, I did use closed captions, and I did do like a caption when I posted the video. And I did change up my hashtag game a little bit by including location hashtags like hashtag Los Angeles or hashtag Long Beach instead of using more thematic hashtags as I usually do. And I did look cute, I'm not going to lie. I was wearing an adorable Christmas sweater and my hair looked good. And while I don't think I got the most flattering angle of my face, I have to admit I look kind of cute. And of course, the video featured like a beautiful horse. Like who doesn't love looking at a horse? But all of my videos included horses and none of them really went viral. So the bottom line is there was not a lot different from videos I'd made that went nowhere. There was not a lot of difference between the one that went viral and the ones that flopped. So it leads me to believe that strategy alone was not what made it go viral. Like it had to have other stuff. And so it wasn't a formula someone could sell me or like some 10-step program that could get me to go viral. So I do want to debunk that a little because I'd had strategy before and it didn't work. So it was like I've used the same strategy before to crickets. So here's why I think it actually did the numbers it did. My offer was really cute. I had an adorable offer, like a horseback Christmas lights ride, and it had a broader appeal than many of my offers in this business. Like I'm marketing to a really specific person for squad memberships and my marketing confidence cheerleader services. Like it's a very like specific black sheep rebel entrepreneur who is breaking a lot of cycles through their work. They're trying to create positive change in the world. They've probably been historically marginalized and shut out of money. Their approach to work is different. It's kind of radical. We are monetizing our emotional labor. We're doing a lot of stuff really differently in a way that challenges a lot of people's value systems, understanding of the world and what you can and can't do to make money. What professionalism is. It's like, it's a very specific person. I am not trying to appeal to the masses. The masses would not be a good fit for my programs. Like this is a very specific person that's a match for my work here in this business. But like for the Christmas lights ride, like that could be anybody that comes, right? So my offer had a way broader appeal than the offers in this business, explaining why it gets shown to more people, right? Because it's just a bigger people who would want to do the Christmas lights ride than are the sort of entrepreneur I'm looking for to work with in my programs for this business. And then also I think that this Christmas lights ride offer kind of happened at the right place and the right time. Like next year, if I do it again, I'm literally going to start booking people in October because there is such high demand. But I do predict, and I'll tell you if this is the case, when I do market in October, I bet it's going to be showed to way less people. And that the week before Christmas, this video took off because everybody's posting and Christmas content and thinking about Christmas activities and buying Christmas related offers. And so I think this particular video just hit the right place at the right time to pop off. And so a lot of what I didn't predict that was kind of sheer luck. So I think this one went viral for being at the right place in the right time, sheer luck, a little bit of strategy mixed in. But again, I didn't follow someone else's formula to make it happen. And there was also a really healthy dose of experimentation in there, new hashtags, new offer that was added to the mix. So I wasn't sticking to doing the same thing over and over and over again. I try new things when it feels like something isn't working. I adjust, I tweak, I see if little changes can make a difference. So I think that's an important takeaway for this and everybody I talk to about marketing. Like you don't have to throw the whole thing away if you feel like it's not working. You can just make subtle shifts. Keep going, keep experimenting, find what works, at least in the early stages of your business. I think leaning more into the energetic side as well, so this might be more of a personal takeaway, was that I was really detached from the outcome of this video. I wasn't like double checking, did it get any likes? Did it get any comments? I wasn't like, oh my gosh, what if it doesn't work? I wasn't catastrophizing. I wasn't spiraling. I posted the video. I went about my day, didn't look at my phone all day. And then when I did look, I was pretty shocked at all those hundreds of messages, etc. And so the reason I bring up my detachment is I think that's also some of the energy I brought to what I was saying in the video that went viral. Like I was not desperate for the sale. I wasn't trying to convince anyone. I was just like, hey, there's this cute thing that's available to you. It'll be fun. You in? I'm fine if you're not. I'm like, it's no pressure. But are you into this cool thing? And people were like, yeah, it's about me, right? It's about me. I don't have to like validate you. I don't have to make you feel like your business is viral. I don't have to like be the reason you do or don't believe in your offer or your skill or who you are as a business person, which I think a lot of us unintentionally bring to our marketing. And it kind of thwarts us because behind making this offer of something awesome, we're actually asking for something more than we're giving, which is make it so I can believe in my offer because I don't yet. I need you to believe in it for me in order to feel like I have permission to think this is awesome. So I do think my emotional detachment from the outcome did play a role in this one going viral. Okay, so to sum up the takeaway from you for this, there isn't a virality formula you can buy from someone that's going to make it happen. The algorithms are always in flux. People are coming to social media marketing from very different contexts. So one size fits all strategies do not work. And I think there's an unfortunate habit for many people we see as successful in social media marketing. There's a lot of business coaches who do this, and I think it's unfortunate because their narrative is usually some rags to riches story. I made 6 figures in 6 months. All this kind of like, I did it so fast and so can you. But then they leave out a lot of important context. Like they had a spouse or family supporting them financially. So if they were to fail, that wouldn't mean they lost their house. If they were to fail, they still had their bills paid, right? Like, so emotionally, that's very different from if I don't sell this offer, I'm homeless, right? That is very, very, very different context. And then there's also the aspect of a lot of people who blew up as influencers in like kind of the business or money or manifestation adjacent worlds that a lot of us find so compelling and attractive is many of them didn't start out as a business coach or a social media coach or a money coach. They started out in something else with a really broad appeal like fitness or makeup or beauty, and they built a huge platform from this huge pool of people that are interested in that kind of thing. And then after not monetizing it, they monetized it once they already had a massive platform. And so when they count the starting time as when they opened their business, when they started monetizing it, and then discount the years it took to build the massive platform first, which I think is kind of cheating. And so I think that a lot of these times people have these attractive stories and they're like, buy my formula and it's going to happen for you too. They are often leaving out a lot of really important context, and which leaves the people who don't get results like that feeling kind of swindled, right? And then there's a lot of gaslighting that can happen. Like if it didn't work from you, you didn't believe hard enough, or you need to work on your mindset, or you didn't do it right, which is shitty. So don't buy someone's formula. They got to offer more than a formula, right? They got to get it so you find your special sauce. You find the method and the formula that works for you, and you don't just like try on one that works for someone else when you don't come from the same context that they came from for it to work for them. Okay, so you got to find your own way with support and informed suggestions when you ask for them. Sure, yeah, it's helpful to have a coach, a mentor, a second set of eyes, feedback when you want it, but no one gets to get out of the experimentation phase. Like, you are special, unique snowflake. I mean that in a loving way. Like, your brain is wired in a way that is unique to you. Your past history is unique to you. Your style of communication, of bringing your work into the world, of communicating, of organizing your time, of your creative cycle, all of that is unique to you. And so when you come up with your system for social media marketing, it has to work with you, who you are, what works for you. And to find that formula that is designed perfectly for your needs, for your goals, you kind of have to try shit out and see what works and what doesn't. You can't just take someone else's on and try to skip over the phase where you fuck around and find out, where you see what works and what doesn't for you. Okay, so the number 2 main business takeaway I want to share about this going viral business is a phrase you've heard before: phrase I've heard before but didn't sink in fully until this experience, and that is that followers do not equal dollars. So it's true, I can't quite calculate total profit yet because we've got more rides booked. We have more people booking. I've got people booking lessons. I've got people booking horse experiences. I've still got people in the DMs figuring out how they can ride with me. So I don't have a full tally on how much money I made or will be making from going viral. But so far, we are, about a week, 2 weeks out from going viral. I've made far more money from my marketing services and cheerleading posts that had like 5 likes than this one with more than 1,500, like thousands and thousands of interactions and DMs and blah, 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 blah. I've still made more money from my low engagement posts for my marketing and cheerleading services that were targeted to a really specific and quite small pool of people who would be an ideal client from it. Those have still made me more money. So, dang it, right? When they say followers do not equal dollars, they weren't joking. Especially because the 5 likes that got me new clients, and at a rate where it was like I'm getting a client kind of at a time. And so I have nicely spaced out time to onboard my new clients. I'm not having to answer 300 DMs in a day. I'm able to keep track of who I said what to when, who I still need to answer, who I might need to follow up with, who I have a next step in the onboarding process. Like all of that was so calm and spaced out. I could kind of keep it in my head, or my casual Asana like task tracking system, or my Google Doc where I have my master plan for each of my offers and just like jot down what's my onboarding process, what's my offboarding process, what am I responsible for, when do I need to check in. It's very casual, those systems that I have, and they have not been strained yet for my marketing and cheerleading services, because again, I'm not trying to attract everyone and their mother. I'm attracting from a smaller pool of people for smaller, higher ticket offers than I am for the Christmas lights ride for the horse business. So I was kind of foolishly, given everything that I know, I was kind of assuming I could have similar systems in the horse business. I was assuming I would get even less interest. It would be a slow ramp up. I could keep a lot of it in my head. I didn't even need to document my onboarding systems for people, or I could figure it out as I went. That's what I was assuming. But when I went viral, that clearly would not cut it. I was assuming for the 2 people I was expecting to be interested, I could just DM with them, get them on the phone and get them booked, and zip bang boom, that would be that. And so I didn't even have a sales page. I didn't have an email list. I didn't have a centralized place to send people for more info at first. And my business partner and I, who she certainly wasn't expecting to go viral, so we hadn't yet got on the same page about scheduling, who was doing what in client communications. And so I was trying to handle all of this in the DMs, meanwhile talking to my business partner, trying to keep track of, did I answer that comment? So it was a lot of, we got to figure it out right now, because literally hundreds of people are banging down the door. And then, to make matters worse, we kind of got our shit together. I came up with all the info to send people. So the pricing, there's a weight limit, you got to wear a helmet, kind of all the information. And I was I'm just going to DM people this. So we have all the things that might cause them to weed themselves out, it's too expensive, or that day doesn't work for me, or I'm over the weight limit. And then we could have less people we have to actually get on the phone with. And so I'm sending off my hundreds of DMs to these people. This is not cold outreach, by the way. This is people DMing me, asking for info, commenting me, send me the info. So I'm only sending it to the people who requested it. And I got banned from DMs for 24 hours because TikTok's algorithm flagged me copy pasting this info message as spam. even though I was only sending information to people who asked for it. So I got like a warning and was cut off from DMs for 24 hours, which sucked when there's like hundreds, I don't know, 1,000 people being like, hey, why haven't you answered me? Hey, how do I book this? And so, oh my gosh, that was a headache. So we were really scrambling to meet the demand at first, which was a major trigger for my anxiety, and that made going viral super scary for me at first. So the takeaway for you that I hope you get from this story, or this aspect of it, the whole followers don't equal dollars thing, is that you don't need to go viral to make sales. And posts that get 5 likes and a lucrative new client are worth more than posts with thousands of likes that don't convert or that shatter your systems by astronomically increasing demand overnight. So give me the 5 likes and the nice $33,333 client twice a week over a post like this any day of the week, right? So, number 3 business takeaway is same video, different platforms can have wildly different results. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this other than the exact same video that went viral on TikTok had next to 0 engagement on Instagram. Like, I'm not joking. I did like make a new Instagram like 2 days before. I didn't follow anyone. I don't engage over there. But I did get a few DMs about it, but I don't think anyone even liked the reel on Instagram. I'm not joking. The same one that went viral on TikTok. So the takeaway for you is that maybe you're on the wrong channel. If your posts are not taking off or getting you sales, and you've tried it for a while, so you have posted enough content, like you've given it a decent effort and it doesn't seem to be doing anything, have you considered testing the same content on a different social media platform? Because it might be that you've got great content with great potential that's just simply on the wrong channel. So food for thought, also something I can help you figure out if you want me as your cheerleader. So again, I do one-on-ones and you can join the squad and you get complimentary access to the squad when you work with me one-on-one. Okay, number 4 takeaway, business takeaway, is that you do not have to post multiple times a day or even every day to go viral. So again, I'd posted this TikTok, I posted on this TikTok for my horse business, like intermittently at best. I had not posted for 6 days before my viral post. I went back and looked. And before that, I was probably averaging a post once a week or even less beforehand. So the takeaway I hope you take from this is that you do not have to show up multiple times a day or even every single day on social media. Like, I know a lot of people tell you to do that, but I went viral without doing that like at all. And honestly, that might not be feasible for your capacity if you have chronic pain like I do, if you have a day job, if you're a single mom, if you've got other shit going on where it's just not feasible, sustainable, something you can keep doing and it feels awful and it makes you dread marketing and get overwhelmed and shut down to try to follow that advice of post every day, multiple times a day. Like, don't do it. You don't need to. So the thing that's important is to just show up consistently in a rhythm that works for you rather than drains you. Try new things, see what works out. Like, grinding yourself into burnout is really unnecessary. You don't need to do that for your words to hit new audiences or your face, depending on where and how you're marketing. So don't overwork, but also don't give up. Just show up when you can. All right. Number 5, and probably the most important business takeaway, is that your systems will save you. So it should be obvious by now that I was absolutely not prepared to go viral, and my previous lackluster social media marketing performance afforded me a luxury that I did not know was a luxury at the time. So I didn't need systems in place to handle the response I was used to. Like a 4-ish times a week Asana reminder to respond to comments on my multiple social media marketing channels more than sufficed. But with this level of engagement for the viral video I posted on TikTok, that absolutely didn't cut it. Nor did simply giving information in the DMs, because like I said, TikTok gets mad when you send the same message over and over again, even if it's been requested. So here's what I will have in place next time, so things go smoother. So before I go viral, before I get evidence that there's going to be demand, I'm still going to do these things first, because you'll be sorry you didn't if you haven't done this before you go viral. So number one thing I'm going to do is designate times to respond, because seeing that much response so quickly made things feel a lot more urgent than they actually were. And really could have helped protect my mental health and emotional capacity a lot more those first 2 days when I was just panic attacking the whole time, if I'd turned off my phone except for when I had spoons to answer everyone once or twice a day. So, in the event of going viral, I am going to designate one time a day, maybe two if it's a spacious day. Like, I'm going to put it in my calendar. I have an hour to answer at 2 p.m. on Tuesday. I have an hour to answer at 11 a.m. on Monday. And then I'm turning it off. I'm not looking at it again after an hour till tomorrow. So I'm going to put it on my calendar. I'm going to have it blocked off, and then I will not look at my notifications. I won't open the app. The only time I'm looking at it is that spot on my calendar I have reserved to respond to people. Okay, and then related, number two, I will need a better system for tracking who I had and have not responded to. Because I learned the hard way that when you have zillions of comments, the app sometimes takes a while to accurately show who you've responded to when you look directly on your post. So sorry to those folks I responded to multiple times because TikTok wasn't showing I had when I went to look. And then I'd look the next day and see I'd responded to the same person like 3 times. I also had a hard time finding the direct messages I'd accepted but not responded to. And then it took me a while to realize I could filter the activity section of my inbox to just show me the comments. So next time I'll only heart a comment after I've already responded to it, so that if it's unhearted, that will mean for me that I know I haven't responded to it yet, and that's one to answer. Or I'll heart it if it doesn't require a response. So that way I know I only have to deal with the comments that don't have a heart by them yet. So this is going to help me keep track. And I will only accept and look at DMs once a day when I have time to respond, to prevent them from falling through the cracks. So this is going to prevent that thing of I accepted it but didn't answer, so then I lost it. And then if I were to remember that I didn't answer, I'd have to scroll a long way through my inbox to find the one I accepted and didn't answer. So again, in those designated times to respond, I'm going to heart and comment. I'm going to look for the ones I haven't hearted yet so I can respond to the comment, and I'm only going to accept DMs when I have time to answer them so that they're easier to find in my inbox when I have time to respond if I can't respond when I see it at first. And then also hopefully I will have less of those I saw it but didn't respond, because with my new systems, I'm only going to be looking at it once or twice a day in bulk. Okay, number 3, really important thing I'm going to have in place next time is a centralized place with info. So as I've mentioned before, TikTok did not appreciate me answering info requests with the same copy-paste DM, even though it was requested. So from now on, I'm just going to have to build a web page to send people to right from the very start. It felt like a lot of work to me at the time, and because I wasn't expecting a high response, I'm like, I can just tell people individually, because I was like, web page would take so long. But let me tell you, writing out the info and copy pasting it over to hundreds of people takes way more time than if I just made the web page in the first place. Way more time. It's much more of an organizational admin nightmare. So just like make the damn page. Make the centralized place where they can get all the info to save yourself that time. And number 4, for the love of God, do not save a spot for anyone without a deposit. because y'all ruined the honor system. And this one's on me. I should have known after being burned so many times before by offering the honor system in this business. So I should never have carried that over to the horse business. I should have learned by now I have, to never ever hold a spot that you have to turn other people away from if they haven't paid you yet. Like, just don't do it. Don't change your timing. Don't hold the spot. Don't make adjustments for anyone who has not paid you yet. So low investment, unfortunately, all too often equals low commitment. So don't rearrange times, don't make accommodations, don't do favors for anyone who hasn't given you money. Okay, so here's the good part for you. You don't have to learn any of this the hard way. You can just do all of this from the start. Save yourself a lot of admin by having your systems in place, ready to accommodate a massive influx of demand because you've arranged it all from the start. Okay. Number 6 business takeaway is to capture those freaking interactions. So you need a system for capturing all those leads from that tidal wave of engagement that comes with going viral. So next time, in addition to having a web page to send people to from the start, I'm going to have a giant newsletter pop up for that page so they can stay in the loop and learn about my other offers. And when I DM people the webpage, I can urge them to join my email list too. So say the timing doesn't work out, get on my email list, you'll hear about all the other opportunities. And while I generally don't like to have more than one call to action per marketing piece, since scheduling didn't work out for several interested parties, it really would have been great to get them on an email list so they could be the first to hear and sign up for upcoming events. So the takeaway for you is be prepared with an easy way to collect names and contact info for interested party. So that's how your viral moment doesn't become a one and done sort of thing and starts making conversions far into the future. So I wish I'd planned ahead and done that earlier on in my viral moment. Number 7 business takeaway is that while the attention is nice, when you cast such a wide net, not everyone is meant to be a client, and that's okay. I've had trolls before, but they usually turned up when I was posting about much more controversial issues like I do for this business. Like, I really wasn't expecting haters on something as innocent as Christmas rides on deeply pampered, gently handled, and beloved horses. So I was surprised when I did get an ignorant comment or two about animal exploitation because Central Park carriage rides, these are definitely not, nothing even close. So those comments did throw me for a minute. They did hurt my feelings. And I was also surprised on my innocent post about Christmas lights rides to get rude dismissals when folks learned that they would have to wear a helmet. Like, hello, I have permanent optic nerve damage and an extremely messed up neck and lifelong migraines thanks to an injury from falling off a horse on my head. Like, wear the damn helmet. You love your head? Wear a helmet. Anyhow, I also got met with frustration that there was a weight limit for how much the horse can safely carry. And I get it, weight is a sensitive topic. No fat phobia around here, fat phobia free marketing, yes. But then we also got to take into the consideration the animal. So horses of different sizes are able to bear different amounts of weight. So we did have to have a weight limit in order to protect our horse's health and safety. There were people who were mad at me that it might rain, as if I could control that, and that in that case that we'd have to cancel because it's an outdoor event. People were mad we hadn't started booking in October and that they were just finding out about it now. People were mad when I didn't instantly respond. It was wild. And while all of that really felt like urgency in my body, it wasn't. And while my people-pleasing and perfectionist programming was trying to convince me I needed to make everyone happy or else, I was proud that my only response was, okay, happy holidays, to the nasty or disgruntled. Valid criticism, that might get a more specific response. But as I evaluate how I handled the whole thing, I'm glad that I didn't backslide into the customer is always right thinking or believe that every interested person might be my last customer. Instead, I focused my attention on the best fits for the offer. And part of being a good fit was, not being rude. So here's the takeaway for you. You do get a lot of attention when you go viral, and inevitably not all of it will be good. So be prepared to focus your energy and effort on the folks who most deserve it. Because with that many people, you do not have to convince any one singular person to buy or that you're not a terrible person. You can talk to the people who already like you and already want in. And you certainly do not have to defend yourself in the comments to folks who are committed to being haters. Haters gonna hate, and let the love that's in those comments drown it out. Okay, so now we're switching gears into the personal takeaways about my experience going viral. So number one, your lizard brain might interpret going viral as a life-threatening emergency. My body sure did, and it really turns out that I'm not alone. So in the squad, my membership for big-hearted black sheep rebel entrepreneurs, we talk a lot about how we are biologically wired to perceive anything new as a threat, even if that new thing is something that you want, like clients, like money, like success, like recognition, like going viral. So rightly or wrongly, you are wired to perceive the familiar as safe, even when it's not, and the unfamiliar as unsafe, even if it's not. Hence why, for example, folks who grew up in abusive households are often more likely to be in abusive relationships as adults. So this is why I see many entrepreneurs, particularly those who come from traumatic backgrounds, really struggle to receive positive attention, just compensation, and healthy working relationships, because none of that feels normal or familiar. So similarly, if you've been social media marketing to minimal response for a while, this has become your new familiar. Or if you haven't marketed at all before, you're probably not used to hundreds of strangers approaching you to ask about your offer, what your credentials are, and tell you what you're doing wrong. So it makes sense that if going viral isn't your normal, it's scary until it becomes your new familiar. And evolutionarily, I don't think the human physiology has adjusted to quite so much feedback all at once. Hence why content creators report higher levels of depression and anxiety than the general public. It's just a lot to process when you go viral. It's a lot of input. And the good news is that you can interrupt your stress responses, bring a sense of safety to your body, and rewire your defaults when it comes to belief about work, money, boundaries, and other humans. You just need the tools and the practice actually using them, and supportive environments that will hold you accountable to doing just that. Because when you're in full-fledged fight or flight, it can be really hard to remember what you're supposed to do, and it helps to have someone there to ground and remind you. That's how you go viral without crashing out. So the takeaway from this for you is that it's really important to know in advance the effective tools for interrupting your stress responses. So the effective tools for you being the operative phrase, because different stuff, different strokes for different folks. So are you a meditation and yoga girly, or do you need to journal it out? Do we need a weekly therapy or coaching session so you're not bottling up your normal challenges so much that you'll emotionally explode? Should we throw something like going viral into that mix? Do you know the people you can safely confide in who won't fuel your fear and anxiety? And do you have people in your life like that? And if not, do you know where you can find them? Hint, join the squad. And this is important because once you have your coping tools and support system figured out, should your body interpret going viral as an imminent danger, you'll know how to take care of yourself so you can respond with calm, clarity, and confidence instead of crashing out, like I did the first few days. Okay, number 2 personal takeaway is OMFG, just take a break. So part of my anxiety those first 2 days of going viral was that I couldn't look away from my phone. All that response pouring in all the time, it felt like I should do something about it like right now, right away, yesterday. It was also kind of addictive to have 200 new likes every time I opened the app. And it wasn't until day 3 when I led a meditation session for Squad when my internal systems were able to reset. I walked my dog, I did some yoga, I decided not to look at or respond until a designated time, and then I wouldn't look at or respond again until the next day. And my anxiety stopped. Everybody wanting something from me stopped feeling urgent. And dang, I wish I'd been doing this since the first day, I thought. And I certainly will be doing that from the first day next time. And you can too. Like I saved you from learning the hard way. You can just do this from the start next time. So my advice is to set no more than 2 times a day where you look and respond if you've gone viral. And set a time limit for how long you'll spend on it, because it is not an emergency. Better yet, set the response strategy and then delegate to someone for implementing it. You will be more effective if you are responding from a place of calm, of balance, and good health rather than stress, anxiety, and panic. Because fight or flight makes you fast and dumb, as one of my mentors likes to say. So no one, not your business, not all of those potential customers and critics, no one needs a fast and dumb response from you. So just take care of yourself first. Put strict boundaries around how and when you respond. And if you need to not look at it at all for a few days to protect your mental health, you go right ahead and don't. You're allowed to make that call. Do what you need to do to protect yourself. All right, number 3 personal takeaway for me was, again, systems will save you. So we had the business systems that would have saved me, and now we've got to have the emotional systems that would have saved me. So again, it is so important to know and practice your tools for interrupting your stress responses and protecting your mental health. For me, I now know that should I freak out while going viral again, I will need to, number 1, breathe, number 2, do some cardio, and number 3, stretch and meditate. So I'll tell you why for each of these. And I'm not saying this system is your system for interrupting your stress responses. This is just mine. This is what I personally need to do for myself. And I encourage you to find what works for you. So number 1, breathe. Slowing down my breath is an incredibly powerful tool for me to stop the anxiety spiral and interrupt my body from going into fight or flight. Breathing slow is not what you do if you had to run away from a lion, right? So when you intentionally slow your breath down when your body thinks going viral is the same thing as a hungry lion springing at you, your body has to recalibrate because you're breathing as though you're safe. This helps your body and your mind to regain your sense of safety. I really like the 4-7-8 breath for this, which is the inhale for a count of 4, hold for a count of 7, and exhale for a count of 8. All right, the number 2, or sometimes number 1 thing I will need to do is some cardio. So I've got to dance, I got to go gallop a horse, I've got to go for a fun run with my dog, I got to go do some roller skating tricks, I got to do that heavy duty yard work I've been avoiding. I gotta go sweat it out, get my heart pounding, because I need this kind of hard, heavy exercise to release the built up tension in my body and open up the space to use my calming tools. So, like I mentioned, if I am too jacked up on anxiety to breathe right now, I will just go right to step 2 to kind of just get some of it out of me in order to make space for me to use the tools I know for calming down. And hint, this is often why when we're working through shadow work or other difficult material in squad or in my one-on-one cheerleading sessions, so we're getting into why visibility is scary. We're getting into pricing and how to stop underpricing. We're getting into setting boundaries with clients or telling someone no, or sending that late payment reminder, or saying what you really think in a way that might attract the trolls in your marketing. When we get into these subjects that tend to arouse difficult emotional responses, I've learned that my sensitive, caring, empathetic entrepreneurs who are attracted to my work, who also often come from significant trauma histories, I've learned that they are better able to sit with that discomfort when we approach these topics that are really important to face in your entrepreneurship journey, if we work with the body first to prepare it to be able to handle that discomfort. So you'll find when you join that we open a lot of our sessions by dancing, by sometimes, if it's really difficult material, we'll just do an entire song to jump, shake and bounce, then we'll do a dance song, then we'll stretch. So we're really getting some of the excess anxious energy out of the body first, and then we're going into the challenging material. then we're preparing ourselves to do the scary task. And oh my gosh, it helps so much. I started doing this, I think maybe about a year ago. And I was like, I remember asking a few times, I'm like, hey y'all, is this too woo-woo? Do you need this? Do you want to get right to the point? And unanimously, everyone told me, no, we love this. And then give us the dance breaks. This is really helping us focus. We're getting more stuff done. We really love this practice. So I've kept it ever since. And I personally use this in my work and find it really, really helpful. Okay. So the number 3 thing that I will do if going viral really jacks my anxiety response again. So I've done the breathing, I've done the cardio. Maybe I did it the other way around. Maybe I did some cardio and then I breathed. So maybe I might have swapped 1 and 2. But the third thing I want to do is stretch and meditate. So this is my process for achieving clarity. The breathing and the cardio help me just interrupt that going into the full-fledged fight or flight and kind of bring me back to a sense of safety. And then to get a clear direction for what is the most effective move I can make right now, given my capacity, given what's happening, is I want a practice for achieving clarity. And for me, that is stretching and meditating. So I know I will get to the answers faster if I take the time to relax my body and go inward rather than trying to just busy work my way through the discomfort, which is one of my less healthy coping mechanisms that used to be my main default. It is an exercise in releasing control and trusting that nothing will blow up if I don't attend to it right away. And again, showing my body that going viral is not an emergency. And for me, given my particular trauma history and how much I struggle with anxiety, I can't go right into stretch and meditation when I'm in that heightened of a stress response. I do need the cardio. I do need to breathe first to be emotionally and physically ready for the stillness of something like stretching and meditation to be able to invite in clarity in a way that's effective and doesn't bring me more stress. So that's the system I've worked out emotionally for what I need to do if going viral freaks me out that much next time. And here's the takeaway for you. It's really important right now, before you go viral, or before you go viral the next time you go viral, it's really important for you to have your tools ready so you know what to do if going viral sends you into a panic spiral, which again is really a lot more common than you probably think. So have these tools written and saved somewhere, kind of like a break glass in case of mental health emergency sort of thing, and plan ahead what to do, even if you don't tend to be an anxious person in general, because we know going viral very commonly triggers anxiety and other mental health issues. So if you are aiming for more visibility, more engagement, more sales, please be prepared for how to emotionally handle it as well as meet the demand from a business standpoint. And if you don't have your emotional systems ready, you will not have the capacity to implement your business systems. So this is a business issue as much as it is a personal emotional regulation issue. You have to figure out your system for bringing yourself back to a sense of safety with a huge influx of demand, or your mental health and your business systems are going to crack. So this is really, really important. All right, so the fourth and final personal takeaway that I learned from going viral is that people are more understanding than you give them credit for. So around day 2 of going viral, I was feeling as though everybody was mad at me. Everyone had information right now. TikTok wouldn't let me keep replying to messages. And my sister called to congratulate me on my success and was surprised that I wasn't over the moon. And as I was sharing with her how overwhelmed I was feeling with the sheer volume of people talking to me, she was ready with the really obvious answer, which was just do one of those posts small businesses do when they blow up overnight. Just explain it's just the 2 of you and you're doing your best to get back to everyone as fast as you can and that you were thrilled by the response but surprised by it and you are scrambling to keep up. And when she said that, I was like, duh, why didn't I think about that? Like, we've all seen those posts, right? And so why didn't I think of that? And the reason I didn't think of that was because of the whole fight or flight, fast and dumb thing. I was ready to run away or fight a lion. I wasn't thinking clearly because my blood wasn't going to my brain. So I took her up on her suggestion. I posted it in a comment, made another cute video about it, and those got swarmed with likes, comments, and more demand too. Most people were really gracious and understanding, and the ones who were rude wouldn't have made good clients anyway, so good riddance. So the takeaway for you is just tell them what's going on. They're more likely to get annoyed or lose interest if you just go totally dark. But most people are understanding when given the chance to be. You'd be surprised. All right. Well, that's a wrap on what I learned from going viral for the first time. And if you enjoyed this material and would like to navigate the unique challenges of entrepreneurship with grace, with ease, and a whole crew of support and companionship, again, you gotta check out the Squad, which is my membership for entrepreneurs growing wildly successful businesses to make positive change in the world through mastering marketing. In the Squad, you get me as your on-call marketing director and an amazing club of black sheep rebel entrepreneurs who refuse to play it safe and demand that business be fun. So join today and you'll be just in time to join our video marketing challenge for the month of January 2026, which was the topic the Squad voted on for our theme for the month. Which is the great thing about Squad. We're always talking about something relevant to your business because they all vote on the theme for every month for where we're focusing our energy and our marketing skill up-leveling. Okay, that's it for today. Thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to subscribe on your podcast player, leave me some stars, and do get your butt on my email list right freaking now for marketing encouragement, how-tos, and spicy takes on business to stay up to date and be the first to know about what's going on and the spectacular offers and takeaways and tidbits of knowledge that are going to change the marketing game for you. If you want all that, join my email list. Okay, love you, bye.